It was a quiet afternoon at New Earth Spaceport Terminal. 4 ships from different parts of the galaxy landed and took off every hour. Aliens of all shapes and sizes walked beside humans, some floating, some crawling, some walking on 2 or more. Legs. Jake Turner, a 34-year-old human janitor, was cleaning the restroom near Dock C. He wore a blue uniform, yellow gloves, and pushed an old cleaning cart. No one paid attention to him, just a human doing a dirty job. Jake didn't mind. He liked simple work. He liked clean spaces. He was mopping the floor when he heard something strange. "Give my mama credit, she cleaned your toilet." Jake looked up. Standing there was a small alien child, no taller than Jake's knee. Its skin was light green and shiny, with big black eyes and tiny arms. Jake blinked. "What did you just say?" The alien child repeated, louder this time. "Give my mom one credit, she cleaned your toilet. Very clean, super clean." A few passengers nearby laughed. One human pointed. Did that alien kid just offer his mom for toilet cleaning? Jake raised an eyebrow. "You serious, kid?" The child nodded quickly. Yes, my mom is strong, she needs work." No one gives job, but humans. Humans don't fear dirt. "You clean things, you are brave." Jake leaned on his mop. This was new. Most aliens looked down on janitors. To them, cleaning was shameful. But here was a kid offering help like it was an honor. "What's your name?" Jake asked. "Zaru," the child said proudly, "from Plaxer." Jake smiled. "Okay, Zaru, where's your mom?" Zaru turned and pointed. A tall alien woman stood far back, looking nervous. She wore simple clothes, her head low. Her green skin was faded, her arms thin. "She cleaned good," Zaru whispered. She was palace cleaner. Before war. Jake thought for a moment. A cleaner from a palace? Not bad. He looked back at the restroom. It was still half done. Maybe he could use a hand. He waved to the alien woman. "Tell her to come." Zaru's face lit up. He ran to his mother and pulled her forward. She walked slowly, her eyes avoiding Jake's. "You speak standard?" Jake asked. The woman nodded. "Yes, I clean, I work, 1 credit. Fair price." Jake chuckled. 1 credit is fair. But only if you clean like a pro. She took the mop from him gently. "I do better." 15 minutes passed. Jake watched in surprise as the alien woman, Valari, cleaned faster and better than anyone he had seen. She used tools from Jake's cart, but she moved like it was an art. Every corner was spotless. The mirrors sparkled. The floor looked new. Even the air smelled fresh. A group of alien tourists walked in, paused, and whispered to each other in awe. One of them asked, "Who cleaned this?" "Is this human technology?" Jake grinned. "Nope, just some good old-fashioned elbow grease." More people came to see. Soon, a spaceport officer entered and looked around. "Who's responsible for this restroom?" Jake stepped forward. "Me, and her." He pointed to Valari. The officer nodded slowly. We've had complaints about Doxy for months. This is good. Keep it up." He walked out. Valari looked at Jake. "Was that okay?" Jake smiled. "You just gave the galaxy the cleanest toilet." "Yeah, it's more than okay." Zaru jumped with joy. "I told you, my mom is the best." Jake handed her 1 credit. She took it with both hands, eyes moist. "No one trusted us," she said softly. "But you did." Jake shrugged. "I don't care if you're Plaxer or Martian. Or whatever. A good cleaner is a good cleaner." That night, as the stars shone over New Earth, the janitor and the alien mother sat near the supply closet, drinking cheap tea. "You know," Jake said, "most aliens think humans are weird for touching dirty things." Valari smiled. "On my world, touching dirt is shame. But maybe humans are right. Dirt hides secrets. Cleaners see what others miss." Jake laughed. "Yeah, we see a lot. Little did they know, someone else had seen them to an alien. In a black coat, watching from behind a cargo crate, his eyes locked on the restroom dot, and in his hand, a small device blinked. New Earth spaceport. Dock C, early morning. A tall alien officer from the Varnak security team walked toward the public restroom. He looked angry. His 3 eyes blinked fast, and his silver badge glowed red. Another cleaning complaint? He muttered, but when he entered the restroom he stopped, completely still. His eyes scanned the space. No trash, no smell, no sticky floor, no graffiti in alien languages. The toilet bowl? Shining, like new, the mirror? So clear, he could see the tiny scar under his third eye. He stepped back, confused. This ... is not possible, he whispered. Meanwhile, in the janitor's lounge, Jake sat with his feet up, sipping warm coffee. Beside him, Valari was folding clean towels into perfect squares. Zeru was drawing spaceships on an old notepad. You know, Jake said, looking at Valari. Yesterday, people laughed when your son offered your cleaning skills. Valari smiled. Now they respect the toilet, Jake laughed. The galaxy's most powerful beings, afraid of dirt. Suddenly, the lounge door opened. The same Varnak officer stepped in. He didn't speak at first. Just looked at Jake, then at Valari. Finally he asked, "Who cleaned Dock C restroom?" Jake raised his hand. "We both did. Why?" The officer walked forward slowly. "That restroom is now trending on the Galactic clean list." Jake blinked. "There's a list for that?" The officer nodded. "It ranks the cleanest public facilities in the known galaxy. Only embassies and royal stations make the top 50. No spaceport restroom has ever made it, until now," Zeru gasped. "Mama, you're famous." Valari looked shocked. "I only clean like I always do." The officer continued. "The Senate's Health Division has noticed. They want to observe your methods." Jake leaned back. "They want to watch us clean toilets?" The officer didn't smile. "Yes, and they may offer a contract." Later that day, a team of alien scientists wearing clean white suits stood around the restroom. They carried scanners, tools, and strange floating cameras. Jake mopped the floor casually while Valari scrubbed the walls. "Fascinating," one scientist said. "The human uses physical pressure instead of nanobots." Another whispered, "She uses vinegar ... not chemicals. Simpler, less toxic." A small robot hovered beside Jake and asked, "Please explain your mop." Jake smirked. "It's a stick, with cloth. You dip it in water. Then you scrub." The robot beeped in awe. "Primitive, but effective." Back in the terminal, passengers lined up just to see the famous restroom. Some took pictures. Others left reviews. "Smelled like mint. Life-changing." Zilber from Titan saw my reflection, found inner peace. Marak, Plaxer Monk, would poop here again. Human tourist Seru danced around the line, giving out cleaning tips. "Always go corner to corner," he shouted. "Dirt hides in the edges." Even a news crew showed up. A reporter floated in a bubble, holding a glowing mic. "Today, we meet the janitor duo who made history, Jake of Earth and Valari of Plaxer. Their restroom is being called the Pride of New Earth." Jake waved shyly. Valari looked down, blushing. But not everyone was happy. From the shadows, a group of alien workers whispered in anger. "They're making cleaners look important. This will ruin everything." A tall one growled, "We must stop them before others follow." That evening, Jake and Valari returned to the lounge. They were tired, but proud. Jake looked at Valari. "You know, I never thought mopping floors would bring this much attention." Valari smiled. "Cleaning is peace. A clean space makes a clean mind." Suddenly, the lights flickered. Jake frowned. "Power glitch?" Valari looked toward the door. "No, something else." A small round object rolled under the door, metallic, glowing red. Zeru gasped. Mama, is that a toy? Jake grabbed him and jumped back. Boom. The object exploded with a flash, not deadly, but loud and messy. Black goo sprayed across the room, covering the walls, the floor, their clothes. Jake stared. Someone just attacked us with a dirty bomb? Valari narrowed her eyes. They want to bring back the filth. Jake picked up his mop slowly. Then we'll clean this mess too. 1 hour after the goo bomb attack, Jake stood in the lounge, holding his mop like a weapon. The walls were still covered in black slime. Zeru sat on a chair, wrapped in a towel. Valari wiped goo from her eyes with quiet anger. Someone wants us gone, Jake said. Valari nodded. They fear what we've made. Jake looked at the floor. We just cleaned a bathroom. Valari whispered, maybe that's not all we did. That night, Jake returned to Doxy's restroom alone. He wanted to fix the damage before the morning crowd arrived. The air was silent. The lights buzzed softly. No footsteps, no voices. Just him, the mop, and the toilet. He stepped into the stall and sighed. The sparkle was gone. Goo still dripped from the ceiling. As he reached behind the toilet to check the plumbing, his glove touched something hard. Not a pipe. Not plastic, cold, metal. He pulled it out carefully. A small silver cube, smooth, glowing faint blue. No buttons, no labels. Alien. Jake frowned. What the hell is this? Suddenly, the restroom lights flickered. A voice spoke behind him. Put that back. Jake turned fast. An alien in a dark coat stood by the door. Tall, thin, eyes like glass. His voice was low and calm. I said ... Put it back. Jake held the cube tighter. You spying on me? Or hiding this thing here? The alien stepped forward. That device is not for humans. Jake shrugged. Too late. I already touched it. The alien's eyes narrowed. You're not important, human. You clean toilets. Jake smirked. Exactly. That's why no one notices me. That's why I notice everything. 10 minutes later, Jake sat in a hidden corner of the maintenance room with Valari and Zeru. He showed them the cube. Valari's face went pale. That's not a cleaning tool. No kidding, Jake said. She leaned closer. It's Plaxertech, military-grade. Old war spy beacon. Zeru's eyes widened. Spy beacon? Like ... secret listening? Valari nodded. It records everything. Sends data to a hidden receiver. Jake stared at the cube. So someone was spying through the toilet? Valari said, through many toilets maybe. Watching. Listening. Jake stood up. That bomb wasn't to scare us. It was to destroy this, Valari agreed. But we cleaned too fast. We found it. The next morning, strange things happened. Restroom was blocked off by unknown security. New guards were posted at Doxy. 2 aliens in black coats entered the lounge, asking strange questions about Jake and Valari's cleaning methods. Jake played dumb. Valari stayed silent, but Jake noticed something every time he looked away. One of the agents would glance at his cleaning cart. They weren't interested in mops. They were looking for the cube. Later, Jake met with his old friend Max, an ex-engineer, who now worked in cargo storage. Jake placed the cube on a metal table. Can you open this? Max looked nervous. Jake, this thing's not human. You shouldn't have it. Jake crossed his arms. I found it in a toilet, Max. I clean toilets. I think I have the right. Max sighed. I'll try. A few minutes of scanning, beeping, clicking. Finally, Max gasped. Jake ... This thing's transmitting right now. Sending data to a ship near the moon. Jake froze. Whose ship? Max shook his head. Unknown, no flag, no ID. Jake grabbed the cube. If they're spying on Earth through toilets, the Senate needs to know. Max looked worried. You could get arrested for this. Jake smiled. They already tried blowing me up with toilet goo. What else can they do? That night, Valari sat by Zaru, telling him stories about her planet. Jake stood outside, staring at the stars above the spaceport. A thought hit him. What if we didn't just clean a toilet? What if we cleaned up a lie? He held the cube in. His hand, it felt heavier now, full of secrets, full of danger. But Jake had cleaned enough messes to know one thing, no matter how deep the dirt is. The truth always floats to the top. Asterisk, the Galactic Senate was never silent. Thousands of alien leaders floated, stood, or sat in a circular chamber the size of a stadium. Every second, holograms buzzed with laws, debates, arguments, and lies. Today, a strange silence filled the air. A single message blinked on every screen. Human janitor requests emergency hearing. Laughter broke out. Is this a joke? Hissed a snake-like senator. A cleaner wants to speak, said a six-eyed ambassador. A human ... from Earth, whispered another. Ridiculous. But then the high speaker raised one metallic hand. Let him speak. The message came with proof. Back on Earth, Jake stood in a tight black suit that didn't fit well. He looked at his reflection in the mirror of a Senate shuttle. Zaru adjusted Jake's tie. You look serious now. I look like I borrowed a suit from a funeral, Jake muttered. Valari placed the small silver cube in his pocket. Show them, don't be afraid, Jake smiled. Me? I clean toilets. I've seen worse things than this Senate. Inside the chamber, Jake stood alone on a floating platform, rising slowly in front of thousands of alien leaders. Some looked curious, most looked annoyed. Jake took a breath. My name is Jake Turner. Janitor, Earth Spaceport Dock C. This is about a toilet. And something hidden inside it. Murmurs spread like wind. Jake pulled out the cube. A giant hologram appeared above him, images and audio recorded from multiple restrooms across different planets, whispers, military codes, private conversations, secret deals, spying, all hidden in public toilets. The chamber gasped. Jake continued. This thing was buried in the wall behind a toilet. Not just one ... hundreds. Quiet, invisible, collecting secrets. An alien senator stood up, shouting, Where did you get this tech? Jake pointed calmly. From under the crap you didn't clean. Laughter burst from one side of the chamber. Another senator covered his mouth in shock. This is illegal, a robotic voice said. Earth should not have access to classified devices. Jake nodded. Maybe, but we didn't steal it. We scrubbed it, found it with soap and hard work. You all missed it. Because no one wants to clean. The high speaker leaned forward. And what do you want, human? Jake looked him in the eye. Nothing for me. But give Valari an alien refugee official protection. Give her and her team a contract to clean across 5 planets. Use us to inspect your facilities. Let humans do what we do best. Clean messes others ignore. Dead silence. Then a voice shouted from above. Absurd. Giving power to cleaners? Another voice followed. I agree. Give them the contract. The chamber erupted. Half were furious. Half were impressed. Some were embarrassed. Others were scared because they knew. If cleaners found this much truth by accident, what more could they discover? After hours of debate, the speaker raised his hand. Vote begins. Holograms lit up across the chamber. Blue for yes, red for no. Jake held his breath. Zaru, watching from a screen back on Earth, crossed his fingers. Valari sat still, calm, but hopeful. One by one, blue lights blinked. Then more. Then a wave. Result. YES 63% nitrogen monoxide to 37%. The speaker declared, contract approved. Earth Cleaning Unit will inspect 5 Senate-aligned planets immediately. Jake walked out of the chamber. Reporters rushed forward, shouting questions. How does it feel to beat the system? Are humans planning more toilet takeovers? Are you Earth's cleanest hero? Jake just smiled. I'm just a janitor. Behind him, Valari stepped up beside him. He's more than that. He saw what others ignored. Far away, in the dark void between planets, a ship floated silently. Inside, a group of aliens watched the vote result. One of them slammed his fist. The humans are in. Another said coldly, then we go to Plan B. That night, back at the spaceport, Jake stood near Dock C with his mop once again. Cleaning galaxy toilets, he whispered. Was not in my life plan. Valari laughed. Life is full of surprises. Jake looked up at the stars. You think they'll really let us keep cleaning? Valari said softly, only until we clean up something too big. Zeru ran up to them, holding a holo tablet. Mama, Jake, look, we're trending again. Jake groaned. I hope this doesn't end with another bomb. It started with a plunger, a golden, high-tech plunger custom made for the cleaning staff at the Galactic Embassy of Veltrax was thrown into the trash by a human. Jake had only meant to upgrade it. But to the alien janitor who saw it, it was war. Across the galaxy, cleaning guilds were boiling with anger. This is an invasion, shouted Blurmick, the slime maintenance chief from Zoran 5. Humans are not qualified, roared another from the Nebulan Stain Authority. They use sponges, not sanitization lasers. At the center of it all was a single message, going viral on every star network. The Earthlings took our toilets. Jake, Valari, and Zeru had no idea what was happening. They were busy cleaning a restroom on a moon orbiting Glyph Prima, place famous for three things: luxury hotels, purple sand, and exploding diarrhea from the local cuisine. Jake pulled out a glowing blue mop. Zeru asked, why does the floor bubble? Jake poked it. It's not soap. It's the tile. Valari, already halfway done scrubbing the alien sink, paused as a loud alarm echoed through the hallway. Warning, unauthorized cleaners in Zone 7. Jake frowned. That's us. Doors slammed open. 12 aliens in stained jumpsuits marched, in holding hoses, vacuums, and toilet brushes like weapons. Their leader, a muscular four-armed mop master named Grintak, stepped forward. This is our zone, human. You clean where we let you clean. Jake raised a brow. You're the local sanitation team? We were, until you showed up. Zeru whispered. They look angry. Grintak pointed a dripping scrubber at Jake. Leave now, or we flush you. Back on Earth, the Galactic News Network showed headlines. Cleaner war begins. Janitor. From Earth sparks uprising. Toilets of power. Who has the right to clean? On a special broadcast, a Plaxer historian said, it is not just about dirt. In some cultures, cleaning is spiritual. When humans took over, they broke a sacred order. Jake, Valari, and Zeru were summoned to a Senate mediation chamber. Inside, aliens from 57 cleaning guilds shouted over each other. This is labor theft. They're outsiders. They don't even recycle mop water. Jake tried to speak. We didn't steal your jobs. We cleaned places no one else would touch. An alien hissed, but you made it look good. Now everyone wants human cleaners. Valari stood up. You should be proud. Cleaning is not shame. It's honor. The room went silent. She continued. My people were warriors once. Then I lost everything. I found peace, with a brush in my hand. Jake added, we're not trying to take your work. We're trying to show that it matters. A few guild members looked thoughtful, but Grintak stood and slammed his bucket on the floor. No more words. We challenge you. Clean off, one-on-one. You win, we step back. We win, you're banned forever. The next day, the event was broadcast live across 12 star systems. Galactic Cleaning Challenge. Earth versus the Guild's Arena. A filthy space station abandoned after a wormhole burst in the laundry bay. Smelled like burnt socks and cosmic mold. Jake, Valari, and Zaru stood ready. Gloves on, tools ready. Grintak's team arrived in shiny uniforms, laser vacuums, chemical drones, even a singing disinfectant robot. The rules were simple. 1 hour. Clean 3 rooms. Judged by scent, shine, and style. The challenge began. Grintak's team went in fast spraying chemicals, releasing nano-wipes and shining floors with sonic brushes. Jake and Valari worked differently. They used their hands. They scrubbed. They polished. Zaru added air freshener at just the right time. The crowd didn't blink. At the end, 3 alien judges sniffed each room, tasted the air, checked surfaces with hyperscanners. The results shocked everyone. Earth team, 2 rooms. Guild team, 1 room. Human janitor and the refugee mom had 1. Barely. As Grintak handed over his cleaning badge, he looked Jake in the eye. You fight dirty, he said. Jake smiled. No, I clean dirty. Big difference. Grintak laughed. I respect that. The rebellion slowed. Guilds began working with humans, not against them. The Galactic Senate passed a new rule. Cleaning is a cultural exchange. Every planet could now choose Earth style, alien style, or a hybrid. And cleaning was officially recognized as a level 1 security profession. Later, back at Dock C, Zaru danced around with a tiny golden plunger trophy. Mama! Jake, we saved the toilets again. Jake leaned on his mop, smiling. Not bad for a job no one wanted. Valari said softly, some messes bring people together. Jake nodded. And some messes just need a really good scrub. Asterisk, it all started with a flush. A senator from the Czarn Republic used the guest restroom inside the Galactic Senate Tower. He pressed the gold flush button, but instead of water, something else came out. Data. Thousands of glowing files exploded from the toilet bowl like light fireworks hovering in the air, spinning fast. Secret documents, contracts, codes, and a single message at the top of every screen. Hidden in waste. Corruption report number 47. Unflushed. Unforgiven. Across the galaxy, emergency news alerts rang out. Leak inside Senate. Toilet flush exposes secret deals. Janitors linked to massive data dump. Jake Turner was halfway through his morning mop run at Dock C when 3 space marshals stormed into the lounge. Jake Turner, you are under investigation for using the wrong bleach again? He asked calmly, setting his mop down. The leader growled. For triggering a Senate-wide data breach through a toilet. Zaru popped up behind him. Was it our toilet? Inside a dark interrogation room, Jake sat alone with Valari. She whispered, they think we hacked the flush system. Jake shrugged. I barely know how to use a datapad. I still write on sticky notes. Then, a shadow entered. The high speaker himself. He tossed the cube Jake found back in part 3 onto the table. This device was active when the flush event occurred. We believe you uncovered something. And didn't report it. Jake looked him in the eye. We found it by accident, like everything else. The real question is, why was it there in the first place? The speaker said nothing, just stared and left. Back at the spaceport, the public exploded with opinions. Some called Jake and Valari heroes. Others called them dangerous. One popular meme called Jake the flush whistleblower. Cleaning crews across the galaxy started checking their toilets. Secret devices were found in restrooms on 31 planets. Private calls, bribes, blackmail, all recorded by tech hidden in the one place no one ever checked, the bathroom. Later that week, Jake was summoned to the Senate Truth Panel, this time not to defend himself, but to explain how he found the truth in the dirt. Jake stood in front of a crowd of politicians, press, and panicked elites. This all started, he began, because I cleaned a place most of you would never walk into. He looked around. You sit on golden chairs. We scrub your forgotten corners. And guess what? That's where your secrets leak. Murmurs filled the hall. He pulled a small wrench from his belt. This tool doesn't break walls, it opens them. And under your walls, under your fake perfection, is a lot of crap. A senator shouted, "You are a janitor, not a judge." Jake smiled. "Exactly. That's why people trust me. I don't lie, I don't hide. I just clean." Meanwhile, Valari was back at Dock C, where Zaru found a file on the cleaning system tablet, a file titled Override Code, Emergency Dump Protocol. He tapped it. A warning appeared. Flush command activates auto leak if unauthorized devices are detected. Zaru blinked. "Mama, I think the toilet snitched." Back in the Senate, the truth unraveled. The original spy devices were planted by a private security empire secretly working inside the Senate building. Disguised as sanitation engineers, they hid their listening tech in restroom walls, flush buttons, and even air fresheners. And when Jake's team cleaned everything down to the pipes, they triggered a chain reaction of silent alarms. The toilets were programmed to dump the evidence. If touched by unregistered cleaners. Jake and Valari had simply done their job too well. The high speaker stood. This investigation was never about a flush, it was about filth, hidden in our systems, and it was exposed by people who actually clean. He turned to Jake and Valari. From this day forward, the Earth Cleaning Corps is granted full independent status. You will report to no planet but your own. Zaru cheered in the back. We're official space janitors now. But not everyone was happy. In a distant station, near the black hole cluster, masked figures watched the vote from a dark room. One whispered, "They've scrubbed too deep." Another replied, "Then we bury them in dirt they cannot clean." Back at Dock C, Jake sat on a supply crate, sipping a cold soda. Valari handed him a towel. "We started with toilets." Jake nodded. "Now we're cleaning governments." Zaru ran up, holding a gift, a shiny badge that read, "Certified Galactic. Waste Management, Level Alpha." Jake grinned. "That's disgusting," Zaru beamed. "Exactly." 10 years later. In the Galactic Education Dome on Delta Prime, students of all species sat in rows, watching a large holoscreen. A small Plaxer child stood at the front of the class. His voice was calm, clear, and proud. "My name is Zaru Turner. My mother was Valari of Plaxer. My father, Jake Turner. He was a human janitor." He smiled. But that's not the full story. Back in time, 5 years earlier, the galaxy had changed. Toilets were no longer just toilets. Thanks to Jake and Valari, sanitation was now part of security, science, and diplomacy. Human janitors were invited to work in royal ships. Alien sanitation guilds started joint training programs with Earth. Even the title janitor was upgraded to planetary waste engineer. But not everyone celebrated. A group known as the Covered rose from the shadows. They believed dirt should stay hidden, secrets should remain buried, and humans should stay at the bottom. Their final target? Earth. It started with water pressure failures, then chemical backups in restrooms across Earth stations, then viruses hidden in soap dispensers. Each attack was meant to humiliate humans. Jake noticed it first. He ran tests on his own mop water. "It's not just dirty," he told Valari. "It's infected." She scanned the sample. "Biocode bombs. They grow in pipes. They explode. Not with fire, but with shame." The next day, Earth was put under Sanitary Emergency Protocol 9. No alien tech allowed. No trust in auto-cleaners. One hope remained: Jake's team. His hands. His mop. At the Galactic Council crisis room, Jake stood in front of generals and scientists. He wore his old blue uniform. Gloves tight, face calm. "We clean it. Every pipe, every vent, every system, by hand." A general scoffed. "That will take days." Jake nodded. Then we better start now. For 72 hours, Jake and Villari led a global clean team, humans, plaxers, even former guild rivals. Together, they flushed every lie, they scrubbed away every virus dot, and when the final waste processor hummed clean again, the people of Earth stepped outside and clapped for janitors. 2 months later, Villari passed away in her sleep, peaceful, proud, her heart strong, but tired. Zeru held her hand until her last breath. Jake placed a cleaning cloth on her chest. She wiped away the galaxy's shame. 1 year later, Jake stood before the Galactic Unity Council, gray in the beard, wrinkles on his knuckles, same mop in hand. The high speaker bowed his head. We name this the Turner Standard. Any cleaner, anywhere, has the right to inspect, question, and protect. Jake spoke just one sentence. Messes don't scare me. Silence does. Back to present day. Zeru finished his classroom story. Some heroes hold swords, some fly ships. Mine held a mop. The room clapped. One alien student raised a hand. Did your father ever stop cleaning? Zeru smiled. No, but one day, he mopped the floor in the Galactic Museum of Peace and found nothing left to clean. Outside the dome, a statue stood tall. A human man in a janitor's uniform, one arm holding a child, the other holding a mop pointed at the stars. On the plaque below, Jake Turner, the human who cleaned a galaxy. No mess is too big. No job too small. Flush the lies. Shine the truth.